Chapter 22. Piper. I'm still smiling as I enter work on Monday, but my grin is nothing compared to Patrick's as he stands at our desks. He's not literally bouncing on his toes like his daughter does, but it's close. There's a definite excited energy radiating around him. "What's going on?" I ask, looking around. Is someone going to jump out and surprise me? It's not my birthday or any anniversary that I know of, but something must be happening for him to be smiling like a loon. Why do you look like the Cheshire Cat? Did you check your email yet? I shake my head. Usually I check my email religiously, even on weekends. But this weekend, I decided not to focus on work and spent the time reading, hanging with my roommates, and daydreaming about Patrick. There's another management position open. He reaches out and grabs my hands. This is it, Piper. It's your time to shine. What? Already? This is nearly unheard of at our company. Unlike a lot of places, people don't really use our company as some sort of springboard to another job. So when they receive a management position, they tend to stay here for quite a while. In fact, the last position had only opened because they created a new department. Is it something I'm qualified for? Though I could do a lot of the jobs here, an opening in HR or finance wouldn't really be up my alley. He grins and nods again. It's in programming. Programming is definitely up my alley, and I sink into my chair as the old nerves hit. Do you think I'm ready? What if I go and they tell me I'm still not good with people? I don't think I could take the humiliation again. He pulls his chair closer and sits down, grabbing my hands again. You're ready, Piper. Just look at all you've done. You spoke with total strangers at a speed dating event. You hung out and conversed with my friends on a game night. You stepped way out of your comfort zone to do a Tough Mudder. You stood up to Ian, and you stole the heart of a 5-year-old girl. The old Piper couldn't have done any of that. He's right, and I know it, but it doesn't stop my nerves from bundling in my stomach. When do I need to submit my name? You don't have to. They've already decided who they want to interview, and your name is on the list. A brief feeling of relief fills me, because if my name is on the list, then it means I've already made the initial cut. But then I pause. Wait, how do you know my name is on the list? I thought you said it came through email. A sheepish expression crosses Patrick's features, and for a minute, I think he's going to tell me that he read my email. What he says, though, is even worse. I know because I'm on the list, too. What? I can't compete against you, Patrick. You have a kid, and you're just as competent as I am. You've been here nearly as long. You can compete against me, and you will. Yes, I have a kid, but I'm doing okay financially. My ex-wife didn't want to be a mother, but she did want to make sure her child was taken care of, and she sends a check every month. Besides, maybe there's more than one position. Maybe they're creating another new department. Maybe they're planning on hiring more than one of us. I shake my head. That's not the way it works here, Patrick, and you know it. No, that's not the way it has worked. But I'm not management, and neither are you. Maybe they changed the way they're doing things. Even if not, you are still going to go up there and kill your interview. I could never live with myself if I got the job simply because you didn't show them how amazing you are. If I'm going to get it, I want it fair and square. I let out a small chuckle. This is how you were in high school, wasn't it? He grins and squeezes my hands. Absolutely.
The interviews start at 9, so how about we grab a cup of coffee before they start?
No coffee. I already had a cup this morning, and I know my stomach can't handle another one. But I'll take some tea.
Okay then.
He leads the way to our small cafe and orders a coffee for himself, a green tea for me, and 2 pastries. Though I'm not really hungry, I eat the pastry because the last thing I want is my stomach growling in the interview. Although, last time I was so far away from them, I don't think they would have heard it anyway. When our food and drinks are gone, we head back to the office area, and I take a minute to check my email. There it is, the email from the bosses, asking me to report for an interview today at 9 a.m. Patrick is indeed on the list as well, along with 3 other people that I know only by name. I wish I had seen it last night, as I would have dressed a little nicer, but I did happen to choose a nice skirt and a blouse today.
You ready?
Patrick asks, touching my shoulder. The clock on the computer reads 10 till 9, but it will take us a few minutes to get upstairs, and we want to be early. I take a deep breath and nod. I don't know if I'll ever feel completely ready, but thanks to Patrick, I do feel more confident than I did last time. Together, we head to the elevator, and Patrick pushes the button for the appropriate floor.
You've got this,
he says to me just before the doors open. I've got this, I agree softly, as we step out, and I keep repeating the words in my head as we head towards the office. Alabaster skin receptionist glances up as we enter. She still looks immaculate in her pearl-colored shirt, but this time I notice that her smile doesn't reach her eyes. Maybe she's put together on the outside, but something is clearly missing on the inside. This is something I didn't, or wouldn't, have noticed last time. Have a seat over there, she says, pointing to the chairs. They'll call you in when they're ready. Patrick and I join the other 2 people already waiting. Neither of them work in our direct department, so I'm curious as to why they're interviewing for a programming position. Rachel, they're ready for you, the secretary says, and the brunette across from me stands up. She's dressed nicer than I am, but I watch as her hands brush down her skirt multiple times as she walks to the door. A nervous gesture. All this time I had thought I was the only one who suffered from intense nerves, but now I can see that I'm not alone. Even next to me, Patrick's leg is bouncing out a speedy rhythm. I force myself to take deep breaths and visualize the interview. Though I never did officially go to Dave's group, once Patrick and I started dating, he gave me a few pointers over dinner one night, and this one is the one I found helped the most. I pictured the people from last time, knowing they won't be as intimidating this time, as I've been in front of them before. Then I picture the perfect outcome, them offering me the job. But I have a harder time with this. Possibly it's because there's still a little doubt that I'm qualified, but I wonder if it has more to do with Patrick. He doesn't want me to throw the interview, but can I really take the job and leave him back in our department? Piper, they're ready for you. At the sound of my name, I glance up. Rachel is finished already? How much time has passed? A quick glance at my watch shows only 5 minutes. Her interview was that short? I have no idea if that's a good thing or bad. Patrick gives my arm a squeeze and flashes an encouraging smile as I stand and make my way to the door. I can do this. I won't disappoint him. As I step into the familiar room, I realize I'm not as nervous. Whether it's my confidence or the fact that I've been here before, I'm not sure. But as I take my seat, I don't worry that my leg will be shaking. Welcome back, Piper, the woman says. She still looks severe with her hair pulled back into a tight bun, but there's a small upturn to her lips. A ghost of a smile, perhaps? Thank you. I'm happy to be back. They run through the basic questions that we did last time. And though my answers are similar, I know my voice is more confident this time. I can tell they notice it too, as they glance surreptitiously at each other.
Were you surprised that another job opened so quickly?
One of the men asks. Though I don't know his name, I consider him the nicer one. At least he manages to smile. I was. Positions don't seem to open here often, but I'm thankful this one did.
Well, it's technically the same position, the man continues. The person we hired last time didn't work out, and we are replacing them. However, we've decided that we would like to grow this department, and therefore we are looking for a team to lead it instead of an individual person. HR has informed us that you and Patrick Stepp are involved in a romantic relationship, which normally would disqualify the two of you from working together. However, we've also been informed by the people in your current department that the two of you work well together, and there has never been an issue. I suppose my question is this. If we pair the two of you up, can you guarantee us that the environment will always remain professional, and that you can keep your personal life separate from your work life?
I am speechless for a moment as I take his words in. They want to promote both Patrick and me? This is fantastic news. But can we do what he's asking? It hasn't been an issue so far, but we haven't had many arguments either. Will we be able to remain professional if we do? Though I cannot predict the future, sir, I can tell you that Patrick and I do indeed work well together. We have already had a miscommunication in our relationship, and we were able to work through it outside of work. While I want to say that it will always remain that way, I would be remiss if I did, because we are both human and are bound to make mistakes. What I can promise you, though, is that if we come to a point where we feel it will influence our work, one or both of us will come to you first to present solutions. I have no idea if this is the right answer, but the man nods. He glances to the other two and lifts his eyebrows as if asking if they have any other questions. But they both shake their heads.
Very well. We thank you for your honesty, and we'll let you know our decision.
Thank you. I can't help but feel disappointed as I leave the room. It's not the flat-out no they gave me last time, but it wasn't a yes either. Though I try not to second-guess myself, I can't help but wonder if I should have just lied and said our relationship would never be an issue. I guess only time will tell.
How was it?
Patrick asks as I exit. But before I can answer, the receptionist states it's his turn.
I'll meet you back downstairs when I'm done,
he says, and then he disappears into the room. I head back to my desk, wondering if there's any more I could have done.